The observation deck of the Talon's Pride overlooked the burning wreckage of what had once been Colony 7. Illyra Dawnfall stood with her hands pressed against the reinforced glass, watching rescue shuttles dart through the smoke like fireflies seeking lost souls. Behind her, the Vrexian War Council deliberated in their guttural tongue, a language of growls and clicks that had terrified humanity when first contact was made. That was before the Vrexians learned what humans were truly capable of. Do humans dream? The question came from behind her, small and curious. Illyra turned to find Korik, barely past his third molt, staring up at her with eyes like molten copper. His obsidian scales caught the emergency lighting, making him look like a fragment of living night. By Vrexian standards, he was a child. By human standards, he was already a formidable predator who could tear through reinforced steel. Yes, Illyra said softly, kneeling to meet his gaze. We dream. Korik's head tilted, a gesture his species shared with Earth's ancient reptiles. What do you dream of? Illyra Dawnfall. My sire says humans dream of conquest, that you are predators who wear the mask of prey. A bitter smile touched Illyra's lips. The Vrexians had called humans weak when they first encountered them. Soft-skinned creatures without claws or fangs, without scales or venom. Then the Krell invaded human space, and the Vrexians watched in horrified fascination as humanity fought with a ferocity that made even their warrior culture pause. Humans didn't just fight. They improvised. They sacrificed. They turned mining equipment into weapons, and civilian ships into kamikaze missiles. They sang songs as they charged into certain death, and they laughed in the face of extinction. The Vrexians had never encountered anything like them. I dream of gardens, Illyra said finally. Korik's membrane nictated in confusion. Gardens? Yes, gardens where children play, where the air smells like jasmine and fresh rain, where families gather to share meals under trees that were planted by their grandparents. Illyra's voice grew distant, her gaze returning to the burning colony. I dream of a galaxy where we don't have to bury our children in the cold void of space, where mothers don't have to choose between feeding their babies or fueling their ship's escape pods. The young Vrexian was silent for a long moment, processing this. His species understood honor and strength, strategy and survival. But beauty? Hope? These were concepts they had only begun to grasp since allying with humanity. That is a weak dream, Korik said, but there was uncertainty in his voice. Is it? Illyra reached into her jacket and pulled out a battered photograph, one of the few physical possessions she'd managed to save. It showed a small girl with dark curls, laughing as she ran through a field of sunflowers. This was my daughter, Mira. She died when the Krell burned Proxima Station. She was 6 years old. She loved flowers. Korik stared at the image, his predatory instincts momentarily confused by the concept of preserving the memory of the dead in such a fragile form. I fight because I dream, Illyra continued, her voice hardening like cooling metal. Every human out there, fighting in the void, every engineer working 30-hour shifts to keep our ships running, every parent who straps on armor, knowing they might never come home. We all fight because we dream of something better. We dream of a future where our children can have gardens instead of graves. She stood, towering over the young predator despite being smaller than most of his species. Your sire is right. We are predators. But we're predators who remember what it's like to be prey. We know what it means to be hunted, to be afraid, to watch everything we love burn. And we've decided that no one else should have to feel that way. Not if we can stop it. Korik's claws scraped against the deck plating as he processed this. In the background, his sire, war leader Thraken, had stopped speaking, listening to Illyra's words with the intensity of a hunter tracking wounded prey. Your dream, Korik said slowly. It is not weak. It is terrifying. Illyra laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Why terrifying? Because it means you will never stop fighting. You cannot be bargained with. You cannot be threatened. You fight not for territory or resources or honor. His copper eyes widened with understanding. You fight for something that does not yet exist. For a dream. That is the most dangerous enemy of all. The observation deck fell silent, except for the distant thrum of the ship's engines. Even the War Council had gone quiet, watching this exchange between the human survivor and the predator cub. Thraken stepped forward, his massive frame dwarfing both of them. The war leader's scales bore the scars of 100 battles, and his eyes held the weight of worlds. He placed one clawed hand on his son's shoulder. "The cub speaks wisdom beyond his years," Thraken rumbled. "Elira Dawnfall, you have shown us why humanity cannot be defeated. You fight not for what is, but for what could be. This is a power we did not understand." He looked down at Korik, then back to Elira. "My son asked what you dream. Now he knows. And now, I make you a promise." The war leader's voice carried across the deck, formal and binding by Vrexian custom. "We will make your dream real. We will build these gardens you speak of. We will create a galaxy where cubs both yours and mine can play without fear. This I swear by claw and blood and scale." Korik straightened, his young voice trying to match his sire's gravity. "I swear it too. I will help build your gardens, Elira Dawnfall. And I will protect them. This is my vow." Elira felt something break inside her chest, not with pain, but with a fragile, dangerous thing she'd almost forgotten: hope. She looked at this predator cub, this child of a species that had once viewed humanity as nothing more than curious, soft things, and saw genuine determination in his eyes. "Then we'd better get to work," she said, turning back to the viewport. "Because the Krell won't stop. And neither will we. Not until every child in this galaxy can run through fields of flowers without knowing what it means to be afraid." Outside, the rescue shuttles continued their grim harvest. But inside the Talon's pride, something had shifted. A human had shared her dream with predators, and they had sworn an oath to make it real. The galaxy would never be the same.